What if you built a masterpiece, only for your billionaire corporate boss to ask an artificial intelligence chatbot how to fire you so he could avoid paying you? This is not some speculative cyberpunk fiction premise. This is a matter of strict legal fact recorded inside the Delaware Court of Chancery. In March of 2026, Vice Chancellor Lori Will handed down a stunning, comprehensive legal ruling against Krafton, the massive South Korean publisher best known for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. The court proceedings exposed a calculated corporate conspiracy codenamed Project X. Internal logs revealed that Krafton Chief Executive Officer, Chang-hyun Kim, had been caught using ChatGPT to brainstorm a hostile takeover of his own subsidiary studio, Unknown Worlds. He wanted to wrest operational control of Subnautica Two away from its creators and oust the leadership team entirely. The goal behind this dramatic corporate heist, to avoid a staggering $250 million bonus pool that the developers were on track to hit. Today, we are opening the official court records, tracking the financial data, and analyzing the ultimate boardroom backfire that turned a corporate strategy into a legal disaster. To truly grasp the scale of this corporate crisis, we have to look closely at the underlying financial architecture of the acquisition. In 2021, Krafton officially acquired Unknown Worlds, the indie development studio behind the globally acclaimed survival game Subnautica. Because Krafton did not want to pay the full multi-hundred-million-dollar acquisition price entirely upfront, they structured a highly leveraged equity purchase agreement. The contract guaranteed that the original founders would receive a monumental milestone bonus payout of up to $250 million. This payout was explicitly tied to Subnautica 2 meeting specific development milestones and launching into early access within a set timeframe. But as development progressed into mid-2025, internal financial projections sent to the executives in Seoul painted a terrifying picture for Krafton. Subnautica 2 was showing signs of becoming an absolute commercial juggernaut. It was practically guaranteed to trigger the maximum $250 million liability. According to recent court disclosures, the purchase contract contained a highly unusual financial clause. For the initial sales volume up to 2.3 million copies, Krafton would retain the vast majority of the profits. However, once the game crossed that sales threshold, the financial split inverted dramatically. For every single dollar Krafton pulled in, their back-end obligations to the original Unknown Worlds team multiplied exponentially. By the time the game reached 5 million copies sold, the acquisition math meant that Krafton would face a major deficit on the initial launch phase. Chief Executive Officer Chang-hyun Kim realized he had signed an incredibly unfavorable contract that would severely impact his company's quarterly financial reports. He decided he needed to neutralize the contract. Instead of consulting a premier international corporate law firm to handle the dispute, Kim turned directly to generative artificial intelligence software. The official court documents verify that the chief executive officer formed a highly confidential internal task force, named Project X. This team literally fed the specific parameters of the studio's equity purchase agreement into ChatGPT. The exact prompt entered into the system asked the AI chatbot to find operational loopholes that could cancel the $250 million milestone payout. Remarkably, the artificial intelligence model itself warned the executive against the move, explicitly stating in its generated response that it would be extraordinarily difficult to void the earn-out clause without facing severe legal consequences. But the corporate leadership was entirely undeterred. Even when Krafton's own internal legal department warned that firing the developers would not legally dissolve the bonus pool obligation unless they had valid, contractually defined cause, the executives pushed forward. Krafton began to systematically manufacture a pretext for termination. They deliberately delayed the planned 2025 early access launch window for Subnautica 2. The goal was to force the studio to miss its contractual milestone dates, which would automatically wipe out the bonus obligation. When the development team actively resisted this interference and refused to sign away their operational control rights, Krafton enacted their coup. In July of 2025, the publisher suddenly passed a board resolution firing the co-founders, severing their access to the internal studio servers, and publicly claiming the developers had abandoned the project and stolen proprietary development assets. The legal battle landed in the Delaware Court of Chancery, a court globally renowned for handling high-stakes corporate governance disputes. Over a multi-day trial featuring extensive cross-examinations, Krafton's engineered narrative completely fell apart under judicial scrutiny. Vice Chancellor Lori Will completely dismissed the publisher's arguments, labeling their sudden accusations of misconduct as entirely pretextual. The judge wrote in her official decision that Krafton's true focus in mid-2025 was completely centered on avoiding its massive financial exposure. Court ruled that the publisher knew Subnautica Two was poised to successfully trigger the $250 million earnout, a scenario that the corporate offices viewed as a massive financial failure. In a landmark legal victory for independent software creators and game developers, the court ruled that Krafton had materially breached the equity purchase agreement by terminating the studio heads without valid cause. The judge officially ordered the immediate reinstatement of Ted Gill as chief executive officer of the studio, returning full operational authority over the launch schedule of Subnautica Two directly to the developers. Furthermore, to penalize Krafton for their bad faith interference, the court legally extended the milestone testing period by an additional 258 days, moving the critical bonus deadline deep into late 2026 to fully compensate for the development time lost during the corporate lockout. This brings us to the current landscape of May 2026. With Ted Gill securely back in control of the studio's operational strategy, Subnautica 2 has finally entered its long-awaited early access phase on Steam. And the market has delivered a spectacular dose of poetic justice. Free from corporate interference, the community-driven development model proved to be exactly what the audience wanted. Within the opening 12 hours of public availability, the game completely shattered expectations, moving over 2 million units and hitting record-breaking numbers for concurrent players. For Krafton, the situation has turned into a total disaster. By attempting to launch a hostile takeover, they not only severely damaged their public reputation among gaming communities, but they also guaranteed a massive legal backlash. Litigation regarding broader financial damages is still actively playing out in the background, and the studio's lawyers have already approached the court requesting that Krafton be held in contempt for trying to issue unauthorized marketing announcements without the development team's express consent. The publisher tried to use an automated chatbot to execute a corporate heist, and instead, they ensured that they will have to write a massive check to the very developers they tried to eliminate. The collapse of Project X stands as a vital warning case study for the entire technology industry. It proves that corporate boards cannot simply outsource ethical boundaries, legal compliance, and human contract management to automated algorithms to escape their financial obligations. Krafton viewed their creative talent as a simple line item that could be deleted by a spreadsheet maneuver. But the judicial system, the developers, and the community successfully held the line. If you are a developer, an engineering student, or an entrepreneur navigating contracts in today's digital economy, take this as a critical lesson. Ensure your operational control rights are completely explicit and ironclad. Never allow a parent organization to hijack your deployment pipelines or your source code under the guise of corporate oversight. Was Krafton's automated boardroom strategy the most short-sighted corporate maneuver in modern gaming history? Or is it just a sign of how big tech companies view creative developers? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button to keep up with our ongoing investigative series, and I will see you all in the deep blue. Peace out.